Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. I'm having trouble keeping track of the days now. It is Thursday, and we are getting ready here for some gentle yoga. We're going to be focusing on mobility, mostly in hip places, so thinking about movement in the hips. And I have the disclaimer for you. And we magically have a mirror image. There it is. So you can see, you can read it appropriately. All right, good morning. My little nose peeking over, that's kind of hilarious. Okay, today we're going to be using a couple of towels and a mat, if you've got one. Otherwise, lie down on the floor, and here we go. We've got everybody in our picture figuring out their spaces. Got Lance here with me, and Carrie Ann's going to be coming on in just a moment. And the dog has put himself in place, so so he's right in everybody's way. All right, lying down on your back. To start, bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand to your belly, and let's tune into breath. So glad you're here this morning. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose, feeling the rise of your belly and the lift of your chest. Hand on belly, hand on heart. Breathing in and out of your nose. And whether you're just getting going with your day or you've been up for hours, check in with yourself and see how your body is feeling today. Letting yourself come to that nice place of quiet. I'm going to start us off. Good morning. I'm going to start us off with our poem. A Place for Everything by Lewis Jenkins. It is easy to lose track of things. A screwdriver, for instance. Where did I put that? I had it in my hand just a minute ago. You wander vaguely from room to room, having forgotten by now what you were looking for. Staring into the refrigerator, the bathroom mirror. I really could use a shave. Some objects seem to disappear immediately, while others never want to leave. Here is a small black plastic gizmo with a serious demeanor that turns up regularly like a politician at public functions. It seems to be an integral part, a kind of switch with screw holes so that it can be attached to something larger. Nobody knows what. This thing's use has been forgotten. But it looks so important that no one is willing to throw it into the trash. It survives by bluff, like certain insects that escape being eaten because of their formidable appearance. My father owned a large 3-bladed brass propeller that he saved for years. Its worth was obvious. It was just that it lacked an immediate application, since we didn't own a boat and lived hundreds of miles from any large bodies of water. The propeller survived all purges and cleanings, living like royalty, a life of lonely privilege, mounted high on the garage wall. Bringing yourself into focus. Finding the parts of you that maybe you've forgotten as you've been taking care of others, imagining the needs of others. And just gathering towards yourself. In our yoga practice, we are both preserving those things we're not sure where they go. Not sure if we're ever going to use that movement. And shining up the important things. So let's find those important things now. The rise and fall of the belly. The beating of your heart. And set your intention for practice today. A simple statement, an I will. Today, I will. And then release your hands from your chest and your belly. And bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor if they aren't yet. And we're going to start with really gentle movements. Take your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees drift over to the right and then drift over to the left. So they're going to go the same way. Inhaling as you come up and exhaling going over to the other side. About 5 cycles. Inhaling up and exhaling over to the other side. And just letting yourself be fabulously here. Up and down. And then the next time you let your body go over to the right, stay with the knees to the right. And I want you to play a little bit with the pelvis. So I want you to let the left hip rise towards the right side and then drop the left hip towards the floor. And let it rise towards the right and drop it towards the floor. So the hip itself is doing the movement. The knees are staying over to the right. The hip is lifting and dropping down and lifting up and dropping down. And these don't have to be big movements. We're just looking for little bits of mobilization. What are the places in our bodies that we may have forgotten about? And then bring the knees up. Maybe they were hurting so much we put them in deep storage. Let them go over to the other side, to the left now. And then play in that right hip. So let the right hip come towards the left and then drop it back towards the floor. And let it go towards the left and drop it down towards the floor. So we're just finding what are these intimate places of movement that exist in the pelvis that maybe we don't use as often as we could or as mindfully as we could. And let's just have a celebration of them today. Let's just move in all of these directions that we have. Go ahead and bring the knees up and draw the knees into the chest and hug down. So you're really using your hands to draw the shins down towards your lap. And it might feel fabulous to rock side to side. So let yourself have that moment. And then we're going to move the knees with the hands. So just holding onto your knees. Push your knees away from you, together away from you. Push them away from you. Then open them wide and draw them back in towards your belly. So hands on your knees. Push them away. Open them wide. And then use your hands to help draw them back in. Yeah. So maybe you're not going as far away from you as you can so that you can continue to use your arms as a little assistance there. Two more times. Pushing away, drawing wide, and pulling back in. I'm in the firing zone around here. And then we'll switch directions. So as you're down, you'll bring the knees wide as they're towards your chest. Push them away from you. Draw the knees together as they're away, and then pull them together back towards your chest. Inhale wide. Push together. Draw in. Inhale wide. Let them drop away. Push together. Draw in. 2 more times. Wide. Push together. Draw in. Wide and away, together and in. Put both feet on the floor. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. And then reach for your right heel with your left hand. And we're just going to mobilize the right knee. So holding onto your right heel with your left hand, move the knee away from you, and then draw it back towards your shoulder. Push it away from your shoulder and draw it back. So we're just doing this little bit of internal and external rotation in the hip space. Keep it going. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh, good morning, April. So glad you're here with us. Glad the baby's giving you a break. Oh my gosh. Okay, pull the knee in towards your chest. Hug, hug, hug. And let's set the right foot down. Let go of the right heel. Draw the left knee into your chest. Hold on to your left heel. And then your right hand goes to your left heel. Sorry, rights and lefts. And then we're just going to nudge the left knee towards your shoulder and then away. So you're just doing a little bit of towards you and away from you. Internal and external rotation. As the knee comes in, that's internal rotation. As you push it away, that's external rotation. And you may notice more information on one side than the other. It may just be fabulously similar information, or maybe not a lot of information yet. Okay? Drop the left foot down. Okay. Right knee into the chest, hug in, and we're going to go into more flexion. So we're going to pull, bring your hands on top of your shin and pull straight down with your elbows, trying to bring your shin towards your ribs. So the front of the lower leg towards the rib cage. And pull your tailbone long now. So you're trying to bring your pelvis flush to the floor. And then your left leg could decide to lower, to extend and lower all the way to the floor. Or you could decide, no, that's not going to happen for me today. So you could foot bent or, sorry, not foot, knee bent or leg going long. Either way is awesome. And then release, right knee down. Draw the left knee into the chest, interlace your fingers, pull down on your left shin. Drop your elbows and then try to sort of poke your tailbone towards the wall across from you. Yeah, that gives me a little bit more sensation. And then the right leg might extend and lower. I don't have a whole floor here. I was being poked where I was, so. You said extend and not, right? The right side. Left knee in. Wait. Huh? Left knee pulling in, right leg going long.
I just did this one.
Well, then do the other one.
But I already did the other one.
She's too fast for us, folks.
I thought you already stretched.
All right, and then bring both feet to the floor. Extend the legs away, extend the arms away, and now we're in hip extension. So the front of the lap is opening up. And I want you to play with the tilt of the pelvis. So as you're here, if it's irritating your back, I want you to put your feet back on the floor. But if it's feeling okay, press your heels down, arms overhead, or maybe out in cactus. And then drop your tail towards your heels, and then arch your low back. Drop your tail towards your heels. So as we drop the tail towards the heels, we're extending more through the front of the hip. And then flip the tailbone towards the floor. Exhale, tailbone towards the heels. Inhale, tailbone towards the floor. Exhale, tailbone towards heels. Inhale, tailbone towards the floor. Drop the pelvis down, walk your feet in, and we're going to go ahead and we've got 2 more spaces to do. So we're going to do adduction, which is the drawing of knees together, and abduction, which is the pulling of the knees apart. So we're going to do that. You can do that here on the floor. So feet on the floor. Inhale, open the knees wide. Exhale, pull together. Inhale, wide. Exhale, pull together. If this is amusing, then you can stay with this. If you'd like more, you push your shins towards the ceiling. Inhale, open out. Exhale, hug together. So this feels like more like core work. If this is amusing but insufficiently challenging, you can take the legs all the way straight. Inhale, take the legs wide. Exhale, zip the inner thighs. Inhale, take the legs wide. Exhale, zip the inner thighs. Inhale, take the legs wide. Exhale, zip the inner thighs. Put your feet down on the floor. We're going to explore a little bit more hip extension. So this is where the lap is disappearing. Bring your elbows down to the floor beside your rib cage. Press the heads of your shoulders down. Inhale, lift your hips up. So now your lap has disappeared. Exhale, add your lap in. So this is hip flexion. Inhale, hip extension. Exhale, hip flexion. Inhale, hip extension. Exhale, hip flexion. Inhale, hip extension. Exhale, hip flexion. Go ahead and roll to the side. Ease yourself up to a seat. And let's come hands and knees. I have lost everyone today, so I'm glad you guys are here to work with me. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. And let's just do a little mobilization of the upper back. So spread your fingers out really wide. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders. And let's dome the upper back as we exhale. Inhale, drag the shoulder blades together. Let your chest fall towards the floor. Exhale, dome the upper back. Inhale, drop the chest towards the floor. Exhale, dome the upper back. Inhale, drop the chest towards the floor. Exhale, dome the upper back. Inhale, draw the chest towards the floor. And then we'll come neutral between those two spaces. Shrug your shoulders towards your ears once, and then draw the heads of the shoulders away from the ears. So you have nice long space in your neck and upper back. I'm going to show you, let's just work left side because that's the side you can see, and then I'll shift around. Bring your left knee up behind you, and then take it out to the left, and draw it to your midline, and pull it towards your chest. Inhale, reach back. Exhale to the left and to your chest. Inhale, back. So we're doing circumduction of the hip here. And let yourself, you can be as free and as wild with this as you want to be. It might look quite low, or it might be quite dramatic, okay? So finding your space, and then reversing directions. So we'll come towards the chest first, and then out to the left and back, towards the chest, out to the left and back, towards the chest, out to the left and back, and settle down. Let's give the wrists a break, either lowering yourself back towards child's pose, maybe letting your palms come up towards the sky, or you might choose a puppy dog pose with your hips over your knees. Take 3 breaths. Hands come down, lift yourself back, hands and knees, and then we'll work the right side. So you'll inhale and lift your right leg up. Exhale, draw it towards your chest, sweep it out to the right and then back behind you. Knee towards the chest, out to the right, back behind you. Knee towards the chest, out to the right, back behind you. Knee towards the chest, out to the right, back behind you. And we'll reverse. Right chest, straight back. Right chest, straight back. Right chest, straight back. Right chest, straight back. And then settle this side down and go ahead and repeat whatever pose you took on the last side. Either choosing child's pose or puppy dog. Hips over knees. 3 breaths. Come up, hands and knees. Go ahead and spread those hands out really wide so you feel like you have a secure base. Draw the shoulder blades onto your back. And we're going to play with this adduction, abduction business. So what's going to happen is on the right side, we're going to take the right knee out to the right as far as we can and then draw it back in. The temptation, and I'm going to go ahead and show you with a block. The temptation is that as we reach the knee up, that the hip also comes up. And I want you to see if you can keep the pelvis steady. So you'll see with the block here, as I tone into my belly, that I can reach the knee up but not topple the block. So you may not go as far as you think you can. You don't have to have a block. You can throw a book on there if you're really curious about it, but mostly it's this idea of continuing to integrate into the low belly space. So we're drawing that low belly bit in, pushing the tailbone away as we're working. So we'll go 5 times. Inhale out to the right, exhale, knees together. 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 One more time, right and together. Go ahead and rest your wrists by dropping your elbows down. You might choose to remove your block of your book if you've got that there, so you don't have to worry about keeping that space. All right, we're going to go ahead, come back up. Spread out your hands, make a nice stable base for yourself. I'm going to shift around so you can see if you need it. Whoop. And now we're thinking about the left leg. Thank you, Carrie. The left leg coming out to the left. So zip up the belly. Think from groin to navel, drawing in, shoulder blades onto the back. Lift the left knee out to the left, and then draw the knees together. Inhale, left knee out. Exhale, together. We want to try not to do the hip up, right? So there you go. That's what it looks like when it falls. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last time. Inhale and exhale. Bring your elbows down and pause. You can take your hips back if that feels good to you. Take a few breaths, and if you're using the block like Carrie Ann is, you could decide to, see what kind of wiggles kicks that thing off there, or you could decide to reach back and take it off. Or you could leave it. 2 more breaths. We're going to think about keeping this pelvic neutrality while we're moving. That's a good one. While we're moving the thigh bone in the socket, okay? So we're working with the femur bone itself. Come back, hands and knees. Draw your inner groins together. Think about zipping as if you're zipping up jeans, right? Think zipping from your pubic mound towards your navel point, and then draw those low front ribs back. Lift the left leg up, and then we're going to take it around in a circle. So without moving the pelvis. So before we were letting things really go, this time you're keeping your pelvis really stable as you're lifting up behind you, going to the left, towards your wrist, and back. Try not to make it really cat-cowy, right? That would be what we were doing before. Now keep it really steady as if you're trying not to disturb your mother or grandmother's china. Go ahead and reverse directions. This is both some of my favorite work and some of my least favorite work. That depends on the day, the cycle of the moon. Go ahead and settle down. And let's see if we can go ahead right into that second side. If you need to take a break, please do. Let's lift right leg off. Take it out to the right, towards your chest. Remembering we're not letting the hip move. We're keeping the hip steady. So re-zip those metaphorical jeans. Or if you've got jeans on, make sure they're zipped, right? Ugh.
What was that ugh?
The ugh was my body. She's wondering why I'm ughing over here. Okay, and let's reverse. Knee towards elbow, out to the right and back. Trying not to move the pelvis. Trying to let it be the hip moving in the socket. And the acetabulum, think about which 3 bones make up the acetabulum of the pelvis. The 2 of them. 3 bones, 2 acetabuli. All right, settle back. I don't know if it's acetabuli though. Take your arms back behind you if you're in child's pose. Let a whole bunch of things go. Tune into your breath. Feel your belly moving towards your lap. And feeling it pull back into the center. Belly towards your lap. Pull back towards center. Hands come under your shoulders. Inhale, lift yourself up to a seat. And we'll go ahead and swing ourselves forward. If, as you're sitting on the floor, you need a little bit more support because you're rounding back, then grab your towels. We have our, I think these towels are going to have a starring role in all of our videos, but if you want to sit on a towel or so, do. If it doesn't change anything for you, then don't, right? Yoga is a lot about choices. We're going to give ourselves some wrist releases while we do a little bit more work with the legs. So soles of the feet come together, backs of the hands come together. And I want you just to move. So move, roll towards your pinkies and then roll towards your thumbs, okay? As you're doing this opening and closing in the hands, open and close with the knees. So we're working again, adduction, knees together, and abduction, knees away. It's also a little bit of that internal and external rotation. See, everybody comes back. They wander away from me and they come back again. This is the bonus of being the mom, you know. Everybody comes back to the mom.
Dinner time.
Dinner time. Yeah, the food source, right? Oh, okay. And then let's let the knees rest down towards the floor. And if that feels really uncomfortable for your inner thighs, then honor that and give yourself some support if you want it. He's looking at me like, what are you doing?
What do I do with this?
You're just resting your legs on it. You can push, that gives you somewhere to push the knees to. Okay. Now, the hands are going to go around in a circle. So roll towards your thumbs, backs of the hands. You're just going to, again, continue because we did all that hands and knees work. And while you're doing that, press the soles of your feet together and drop your knees down. If you are lucky enough to have enough towels around, you can really push the outside edges of your thighs down into the towels and lift the low belly up out of the pelvis. Just thinking about creating all that space. Fingertips dangling down, just roll across the wrists. Roll across the wrists. And then do a little tug of war business. So your fingers go to the right and then fingers go to the left. So you're just, again, we're looking for movement in the body, checking out all those weird tight corners. Maybe we didn't know were weird or tight. You lift your elbows. Okay. Hands on your shins or your knees or your ankles. And let's move around. So now we're moving the spine around in the bowl of the pelvis. Ooh. We have a concrete crew. We're putting down, it started before quarantine started. We had a contractor here fixing our back house up so that I have a fabulous yoga space and Lance has a fabulous workspace. Just needed to be done. And we had concrete being poured today. So there was lots of needs outside of our control.
We had to put our footprints into the concrete.
We had to put our footprints in the concrete. I didn't get to. Oh, well, man. There's a spot for me.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go do that. Okay, I'm teaching. Okay, hands back behind you, feet on the floor. Take them wide. And we'll go back to that side-to-side movement, okay? now you might feel things differently because of all the actions we've already done. It doesn't matter which way you go first, but go one way and then lift up and go the other way. We're going to drop the right shin down in front of us. So we're in internal rotation on this right side, and we're on external rotation on the left. And then we're going to let the right hip come up. So we did this when we were lying on our backs. We're going to let the right hip come up, and then we're going to drop it back towards the floor. Let it come up and drop it back towards the floor. For me, there is so much tension and excitement on the outside of that leg. You may notice you're doing all kinds of funny shimmying with your shoulders. See if you can let your shoulder blades stay on your back. One more time. Let the pelvis rock up and drop it down, and then take the knees up. Drop the knees to the right. This time the left shin is coming in front. Your right knee might externally rotate, right? That hip's externally rotating. And then we're going to play in the realm of the left hip. So let the left hip come up and drop it down. And let it come up as you inhale and drop it down. Let it come up and drop it down. Let it come up and drop it down. Let it come up and drop it down. There are all of these things I've been playing with here at the house, and we happen to have a slidey floor. Let your knees both come up. Send your legs out away from you. And we're going to do some conscious internal rotation. So the right knee is going to come in towards the chest. Take your left hand to your right knee, right hand to the floor, and I want you to push your right knee to the left. And then I want you to push into your left palm. So you're really pushing back into that left palm and looking for information on the outside of that leg as you're drawing across. Not feeling anything? Carrie Ann's not feeling anything. Push the knee further across. Yeah. And then resist back into your hand. So the knee's pushing into your arm's pushing down on your knee. Does that give you something?
Barely.
Barely. All right. If you're in the barely camp, you step the foot over. Now try. Squeeze the inner thighs. Lift your chest.
Still not much fun.
Maybe that's not where her tension is. It's just where her mom's tension is. All right. That's okay. Extend.
My tension is in the back of my leg.
Oh, the back of her leg. She's a hamstring girl. Okay. Left knee in. Extend your right leg away. Left knee in. Right hand gets your left knee. Pull it across your body. So we're keeping the foot grounded. Pull the knee across the body. Left hand goes to the floor behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest. And then you're in this tug of war. Okay? It's a dynamic space. It's not just your knee winning or your elbow winning. They're in conversation as you're making sure that the left side of your bottom stays down. And if you need more information, then you do the things I just had Carrie Ann do. Maybe you step across, maybe you sit up taller, push and pull. Really keep the left sit bone down. Roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Pretend you love yoga as much as I do. And then let's come on up. Whew. Okay, we're gonna make it up. It's gonna happen.
Up.
Up. Oh, up. Everybody's coming up.
I thought we were making it up as we were going along.
We're making it up as we go along, says Carrie Ann.
Up. Behind.
We're getting up. We're climbing up. You're gonna eye roll for me? She's got a fabulous eye roll, people. It's amazing. She could give eye rolling lessons. It's really good. Okay, feet slightly wider than hips and shift your hips side to side. So the realm of the second chakra, which is where we're working in today, which is the hips and the pelvis and the low back space, all of this and low belly. Go ahead and go around in circles. All of this is very much about choice and recognition of other, right? That we have this branching that happens here at the pelvis, a right and left side of the body. It's also, you know, a place of sexuality and creativity. And it's this, we can move in all these different ways. We've got circumduction here. Go ahead and make sure that you've shifted the direction of your hip circles. So I've been thinking about this one. This is what I started to say, is that I've been thinking about the movement of the leg, and I've been using our slidey floor. So if you have a slidey floor, I'll show you something you can do with it. If you don't worry about it. I'll also show you an opportunity without a slidey floor. So if you have a slidey floor, yay, awesome, you can play this game. Scoot your mat off to the side so that you can stand on the slidey floor with your towel near your right foot, okay? And then we'll slide back and forth. If you do not have a slidey floor, that's fine. You can do this same work, moving the foot forward and the foot back. This is gonna feel a little bit ballet classish, okay? So foot forward, foot back. You're either sliding across the floor with your towel, or you're moving your foot forward and back and forward and back. One more time, forward and back. And then you're gonna settle in. Put your left foot now on the towel, or we're gonna work with the with carpet, right? I'm doing the carpet thing. Hug your inner thighs together, and we'll move the left foot forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. One more, forward and back. I lied, 2 more, and back. And then settle both feet on a non-slidey space. Now we're gonna do the adduction and abduction. So if you are on a carpet, on a non-slidey floor, then I recommend that you make your standing leg taller by standing on your towel so that you can do the adduction together and abduction without hitting the floor. If you have the slidey floor, then your left foot's going to go on the floor and your right foot's going to go on your blanket or your towel. You'll slide out and pull in. Slide out and pull in. So I'm doing the carpet version. Lance and Carrie are doing the slidey version. Right foot out and draw in, out and draw in, out and draw in, out and draw in, out and draw in. Step down if you're on the carpet version, step off if you're on the slidey floor version, and then we'll switch. So the left foot, if you're on the slidey floor, is going to go on your towel. Your right foot, if you're on the carpet, is going to go on the towel. So working with the tools you got, right, friends? Okay, left leg out and back, out and back. You're either sliding or you're lifting because you don't have a glidey floor. If you have that glidey floor, your moment to really capture is in the pull back, yes? And then notice how much your body English is happening, right? We want to see if we can keep ourselves upright as we take the leg out and step down. Both feet on the floor. Close your eyes. Feel the body in space. We're going to do 3 circles, counterclockwise and clockwise, both slidey floor way and non-slidey floor way. So if you have the non-slidey floor, you'll just get to do it 6 times. Okay, so slidey floor version. Right foot on the towel. Scoot forward, out to the right, back behind you, and together. So you're making a circle, okay? If you're on carpet or something that's not gliding, foot on the towel, so left foot on the towel, right foot out to the end, circle. So we're doing circumduction here. I want you to work on that control space. We'll go 3 times and then reverse your direction. Try to keep the pelvis steady as you're mobilizing the legs. Okay, now we'll do the
Other side.
other side. Yippee. So slidey floor version, left foot on the towel. Non-slidey floor, right foot on the towel. Okay, left leg out in front of you, to the left, back behind you, drag it forward. Out to the left, back behind you, drag it forward. Out to the left, back behind you, drag it forward, and then we'll reverse. Back behind you, out to the left, take it forward, back behind you, out to the left, drag it forward, last time, and come off. Oof. Okay, so now everybody is going to stand on their towel or something. You could stand on a block, you can stand on a book. Just make sure it's a well-bound book, right? Well-bound book is going to give you a steady surface. All right. Ta-da!
Dun, 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 dun.
Little musical intro for that one. Left foot
Oh.
on the towel. Right leg, swing it free. Try not to kick anybody. Or your cat, or your dog, or the furniture,
Last year.
or your spouse. What? And then go side to side. What's this?
We did these in PE and that.
Oh, we did these in PE, says Carrie. Oh, you're going to let it go across the body. And then let it go back behind you a little bit. Ooh, back behind you. Back behind you. Okay, now we'll do the more static movement. Make sure that your left leg is really turned on. Right leg goes out, to the right, back behind, and forward. You can check your range of motion. You want to make sure that your hands, if they're on your hips, are not doing a whole whoompa, 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 right? That this is a stabilization action in the pelvis. Now we'll come out forward, sweep back, out to the right, forward, sweep back, out to the right, sweep forward, set it down. And you may notice that your stabilizing side feels more than your mobilizing side, or maybe both equally awesome. Okay, right foot on the towel or your block. We're going to give Carrie Ann a special challenge. She's standing on one block. I like standing on one block with 2 blocks with a gap in between, so you have sort of like the Grand Canyon. Okay, right foot on the towel, and let's just swing. Left leg back and forward. Let your arms go. You know, the whole body is really designed to coordinate together. It's so good that way. It's such a celebration. And then let it go across and back. Boop. And you may have to put your foot down. Your arms may get bigger. Whee! Makes me think of skating. All right, and then let it go back behind you. Oh, behind and to the right. Behind and to the right. Whee! Skating, skiing. Wow, try not to fall over. Okay, now we'll do the strengthening space. Okay, so we've done the mobilizing. Step onto your right foot. Reach your toes up. Settle them down. Draw your quad up. Take your tailbone down. Left leg forward. To the left. Back behind you. Swing it through. To the left. Back behind you. Swing it forward. Left. Back behind you. Swing it forward. And then we'll reverse. Back behind you. To the left. Forward. Back behind you. I didn't say you can hold onto a wall, but you totally could do that. Or a chair. We'll revise that. Okay, that hurt. Not really hurt. I felt stuff. What we're looking for, right? Feeling stuff. Butt stuff, probably. Butt stuff. Okay. Come to your mat, step wide. Come to your mat and step wide. grinning at me.
Yes, I'm giving you the opportunity to fix the mat.
Oh, I'm fixing the mat for her. Everybody always comes back to mom. Mommy. Okay.
Look at me, I stepped wide.
She stepped wide. Reach your arms out. Inhale, reach up. Warrior two. Turn your right toes out. Bend your right knee. Yes. And then bring your hands to your hips and notice all of the different directions those hips can go in. So there's all of these options, right? The hips have got all of these options. We're looking for right inner groin moving back, left inner groin moving back, tailbone dropping down, knee broadening to the right. Notice that left hip wants to bubble forward. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Think about getting broad from knee to heel in the back. Now float the hands. Gaze might go over the right hand. And breathe. Then go ahead and release your arms down. Turn your right toes forward. Turn your left toes out. Bend your left knee, hands on your hips, and sweep your hips around in circles. Just notice, what are all of the options? All of the options, maybe they feel not so like options. Go the other way with your circle. Oof. Okay. Now, we're going to think right hip draw, inner groin's moving back. Let's start there. Inner groin's moving back. Tailbone dropping down. Left knee broadening to the left. Right hip pushing back behind you. Heels pulling together. Float your arms up. Breathe. She hasn't stopped being a kid yet. Inhale. We'll put her on Cosmic Kids yoga later. She can go on an airplane ride with Hanuman the monkey god. Release your arms down. Turn your toes together. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, or hop the feet together. All right. So that one shows us external rotation in that front knee, hip, and abduction in the back hip. We're going to work on the hip extension and hip flexion. So turn towards the short edge of your mat. Right foot goes forward, left foot goes back. Put your hand 2.5 to 3 feet. You think she doesn't ever get any attention around here. Okay.
I don't.
Bend your right knee. Put your hands on your hips and play. Let your hips turn towards the long side of your mat and then towards the short side, towards the long side, towards the short side, towards the long side, towards the short side. Keep them facing the short side. Lift your toes up, shades of yesterday. Pull your right hip back, left hip forward. So right now, the right hip is in flexion. It's bending, closing the angle. The back hip is in extension. And this is the one that wants to buckle oftentimes. So see if you can kick that left heel back, 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 back. Okay? Now, hands on the hips, lean forward. So we go into deeper flexion and see if you can come up towards warrior three, back foot lifts, and then step down. The picture is too crowded. Bend your knee, lean forward, lift up. Exhale, settle down. Bend your knee, lean forward, lift up. Bend the knee, step back. Step your right foot back or your left foot forward. Come feet together. And then we'll feet together. Ground yourself. Notice what feels challenging. And then we'll step left foot forward, right foot back. Hands on your hips. And let yourself come into that rotation. So turn your hips towards the long edge of your mat. And then towards the short edge of your mat. Towards the long edge of your mat. Yeah, and you can wave your arms around towards the short edge of your mat. Towards the long edge of your mat. towards the short edge of your mat. One more time, long edge, short edge. Bend into your forward knee. Press back into your back heel. So we're going warrior one first. Warrior one first. Stay upright. Think about this side. This forward side is in flexion. So we're trying to bend the knee and get the belly and thigh in more relationship. And then in that back leg, we're trying to move the belly and thigh out of relationship. So you're really straightening your back knee. Yeah, nice. Opening up the deep hip flexors, okay? Then go ahead, lean forward, and see if you can float your back foot off the earth. And then step back. Lean forward, float the back foot off the earth. Step back, nice work.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. Lean forward, float the back foot off. Step back. And we'll go one more time. Lean forward, float that back foot off, and step back. I have so much stuff planned, and we're not going to get to it all, but that's okay. Step your feet together, and we're going to play with that idea. We're going to play with that idea in a couple of, you may play with that idea in a couple of ways, and I'm going to show those ways. So if you happen to have blocks around, those could be helpful. If you happen to have a chair around, that could be helpful. Julia's got this really cool beat box. Beatbox. You could use a beatbox or, you know, an ottoman, right? So what's going to happen is we're going to continue to play with Warrior 3. And I'm going to get myself so I'm in an image here. You can carry it out. Okay. I know. She doesn't like that. So whatever you're using, whether it's blocks or beatbox or chair, you're going to have it in front of you. We're going to think about coming back towards Warrior 1. So in this instance, my left foot is forward. Going to gather the inner thighs, push back through my back heel, that right leg back behind me. I'm going to increase the angle in the back leg, decrease in the front leg, lean forward, hands to whatever you're using, push down into that forward leg and lift the back leg up. The temptation is going to be to cock the hip up, okay? And also to let this space roll forward. So we're going to bend the knee and we're going to think inner groins back, kick straight back through your back leg and reach the inner groins up, 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 up. For me, the beatbox, forearms down would be awesome. You might choose to flow, no hands. Okay? So if you've already done one side, you've done one side. If you're ready to go, then let's find Warrior 1. Whatever you're going to use for your hands, have that in focus. You're going to use the blocks, Carrie? I'm going to invite Carrie in to use the blocks. Okay. Come to Warrior 1. Right foot forward, left foot back. Bend your right knee. And think about the pelvis angling towards the front edge of your mat. Yes? Then lean forward. We're decreasing the angle in the front. Increase in the back. Really kick back through that back leg. Bring your hands to whatever you're using, the floor, the blocks. Yes? Push down into your right foot. Straighten your right leg. Float your left leg off. Yes. The hips want to turn. The left hip really wants to go up towards the sky. I want you to work outer right hip back, inner right thigh towards the ceiling. See if you can really kick back through that leg. I'm going to hear Carrie Ann can finally kick me. All right. She's going to kick into me and draw her outer right hip towards me. This hip towards me. Yeah, that hurts. But she's going to do it anyways. So take this foot lower, draw this hip towards me. Yes, keep it there. Tone into your belly, lengthen through your head and your neck. Yes. It's super fun. Not really. But if you're pressing into someone or a wall, see if you can flow away from that space and keep the hip lifted. If your hands are on something and you want to challenge your balance, see if you can take maybe your right hand off and reach it out to the right. You may say, hey, I've got enough work here, and you bring your right hand down and you try to lift your left arm off. or maybe you go for both. Fabulous. All right, feet together, hands down. Whew, we found a spot, didn't we?
Me.
Yeah, we found one. Okay. Gotta love your butt. Gotta love your butt. Okay. Right foot back, left foot forward. Gather your inner groins. Think about that right hip moving forward, left hip moving back. Reach your arms forward, draw your shoulder blades onto your back, zip the belly up, through, lean forward. Hands are going to come to whatever you're using, whatever props you're using, and float your right leg up behind you. It's going to want to buckle. Really powerfully kick back. We'll give Lance the prop now. Kick into me. Yes. Try to kick me into the window here. Then draw your outer hip back. Zip up your belly space. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Yes. So the whole torso is integrating to support the weight of this big old heavy leg back there behind you. Kick back. Yeah. Then see if you can float it without. The right hip is going to want to float towards the sky, right? It wants to roll up. Maybe you take your left arm out to the side.
No, you're pushing too much. I don't like this.
Okay.
No.
Maybe put your right arm out to the side. Maybe you add your right. Maybe you switch. And maybe you decide this pose is not your pose today. You know, some poses on some days, not your pose, and that's okay. Draw yourself upright. It is time to come down towards the floor, which I'm sure everybody will be glad of. Yep. Almost always try to get out of warrior 3. Okay, so you're coming down to the floor, but you're coming down to the floor on your belly. All right. Nice. You can stack the forearms, turn a cheek, get cozy for a bit. And then I'm going to have you bring your right knee out to the right. So this is crime scene pose. Bend your right knee, take it out to the right. And we've been doing that space where we flip the butt and then drop it down. So this is that same shape that we were in when we were seated. This is the same shape that we were in when we were lying on the floor. We're going to do the same thing now on our bellies. So let your tailbone rise towards the ceiling. And then drop your tailbone down. And let your tailbone rise towards the ceiling. And drop your tail down. So you're trying to drop your inner thigh towards the floor. Let your tailbone rise. Drop it down. Let your tailbone rise. Drop it down. Zip up your jeans. Zip up. Think about tailbone headed towards your back heel. Press down in that space, drawing your outer right hip down. And then, I was playing with this in my practice today. See if you can lift your right knee off the floor. It's ridiculously hard in my body. Set it down. You're going to try 3 times. You don't have to get very far. Try to lift it off. Set it down. Try to lift it off. Set it down. Ha! Kick your right leg back behind you. It's ridiculous. Like, why should that be? We can do it when we're on hands and knees, but things we were talking about in anatomy the other day, that when you're in a fixed position, that it's harder to access some muscles. Go ahead and extend the right leg back. Bring your left knee out to the left. And then you'll flip your butt again. So let your tailbone go up and drop your tailbone down. Lift your tailbone up and drop your tailbone down. Just a couple more times. Up and down, up and down. And as you draw the tailbone down, move the back of the right thigh down towards the floor. Yeah. Lift the quad up. Think about sweeping the outer left hip now towards your right heel. And breathe in this space. And then we're going to imagine that we might be able to pick the left knee up off of the floor. Yeah. Try 3 times. Lower. Nice. Try 3 times. Yeah, it's ridiculously hard. I did that in a class with Carrie Werko, and I thought, how is that challenging? Okay, beautifully done. Extend your legs back behind you. So now we're going to work with a little bit more hip flexion. So that's that, not hip flexion, pardon me, hip extension. The drawing of the legs back behind us. So extend your right leg, so lift your right leg up, reach back, set it down. Lift your left leg up, reach back, set it down. Think like you're pulling taffy. You're trying to get the front of the body longer, tailbone longer. Nice. Just walking side to side. And then the next time the right leg comes up, just hold it up in space. As you're holding that right leg up in space, think warrior 1. You thought you were done with warrior 1, but you're not. Think more lifting the inner right thigh. Yes, wrapping the outer right hip down and pulling the outer left hip towards your left heel. And then release down. Walk a few times, reaching up and setting down. Reaching up and setting down. So get the foot off, yeah. Think about broadening across the belly. So you're trying to get your feet to walk further away from you so you can get all this length in the front body. And then the next time the left leg comes up, leave it lifted. Think warrior 3. Think inner left thigh reaching higher than the outer hip. Dropping the front of the left pelvis down towards the floor. Taking the tailbone back towards your right heel. Engaging your belly. If you engage your belly here, you'll be pulling the weight of your leg back towards the center of your body, and it will be more sustainable. And then settle this bad boy down. Yeah. Bend your knees, let your feet go right and left. Breathe. Let air move through your body. Hips are amazing. They have so many opportunities to move. They've got so many places of strength and of tension, but they also can frustrate the heck out of us, right? It's that difference between right and left, you know, that some of us always move really well with the right side and some of us get stuck on the right side. So it's they're a fabulous place to find out where we're stuck. Go ahead, roll over onto your back. Place your feet flat on the floor, bring your elbows down by your sides. Roll the heads of the shoulders down towards the earth. Inhale, lift your pelvis up. So we're coming to bridge pose. We're going to move in and out of it 3 times, and then we're going to sustain it. Lift up and lower. Lift up and lower. Lift up and sustain. Breathing. Walk your right shoulder blade under you. Walk your left shoulder blade under you. Reach your hands towards your heels. Grab the outside edges of your mat. Pull your mat apart. Lift your chest a little higher. Use your shoulder blades going together. So now it's adduction of the shoulder blades. It's going to lift your chest towards your chin. And then reach your knees in the opposite direction. Yeah. You guys look so good. And then release and come this down. Okay. We're going to take 3 versions of that pose. Start with your feet as wide as your mat and really get the outside edges of your feet parallel to the outside edges of the mat. So for many of us, including the 2 people practicing here, the outside edges of the outer heels need to move out more than the toes. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up. We're going to stay 5 breaths. You can count your own breaths. I trust you all. Elongating across your lap. I'm just noticing where those lines of tension are. This is this series of foot placements comes from, I'm going to come up with the woman's name. It's going to happen in a little bit moment. Release your hips down. Walk your feet so they're hip distance. So they're lining up with the bones in your butt, your ischial tuberosities, those little protrusions at the base of your bottom. And again, make sure that the outer heels are moving out more than the toes. We tend to sort of go duck-footed here. So you want to walk those inner heels, yes, out. Okay, and then inhale and lift up. Press down into your feet, drag your heels back towards your shoulders, roll the shoulders under. When you get to breath 5, you get to release yourself down. Of course, if anything is in pain, anything is not feeling good, or you're just having a day where this one's not your pose, then give yourself permission to come out. I took a class this morning and the teacher was doing some amazing back bend stuff and it wasn't in my body today. So I stopped and I did something else. It was nice to be there with everybody, but the last 10 minutes of class I did my own way. That can happen. It's okay. All right, feet come all the way together. So the inner edges of your big toes are going to touch. The heels are going to be slightly up. So it lands feet together, flat on the floor, knees together. Yes. Kick your heels out slightly. So you feel the big toes touching. And then we're going to lift into bridge pose here. So your hips may not come as far because the feet are together. Try it. 5 breaths. Press down into your elbows, into the heads of your shoulders. Lift your hips up. Reach your tail. So the closer your knees are together, the more you're going to have to pay attention to the elongation through the spine. I notice as I draw my knees that I start to compress in my lumbar spine, in the low back space right above the pelvis. So I have to think more about the insides of the legs dropping down like we think about in Warrior 3. And when you get to 5, you release yourself. This one I like to do. Feet, any placement on the mat that you like. Push into your feet and then jiggle your bottom. So just lift up enough so you can wobble your bottom around. Yeah, shake out your cheeks. Butt cheeks, not face cheeks. Carrie-Ann was giving me a demonstration of how many cheeks she has. Release down. Right knee into your chest. Cross right ankle over left thigh. Make sure your ankle joint is nice and firm. And then push the right knee away. 5 to 10 breaths on each side. So I'm not going to cue you guys to switch. You get to do that for yourself. So you can play with whether it feels better for you to put your right hand on your knee and nudge that knee away, or whether it feels better to draw your knees into your chest. We're just looking again for sensation in the outer hips. Don't be surprised if tomorrow you have some interesting inner groin sensations. We did a lot of adduction in a variety of ways, and that's not an action that happens a lot in the course of walking around the neighborhood or cooking, making amazing sourdough bread. I'm seeing lots of sourdough bread postings, banana bread postings. One of our good friends is a nurse, and she posted on Facebook, she said, "Okay guys, I need help. I'm really stressed out. I'm dealing with a really horrible situation, and I want banana bread, and I don't have time to make it." She said she ended up with 9 loaves. So I now have banana bread in my freezer. So, notice the people in your world who are having to work in ways that they weren't having to before, and see if they need a little bit of banana bread or a phone call. All right. Anything else your body needs as you head towards Shavasana? Roll your shoulders under. Release your arms to the floor. Maybe you want to stay with your feet flat on the floor. Maybe you want to extend your legs away. Maybe you want to take a little twist before you release down. I'm going to do a little guided meditation here in your Shavasana. We got 5 minutes left in class. Hello? Feel your feet and your legs from the soles of the feet to the knees, from the knees to the hips. And for this area, feel the vibration of safety and of home. Feel your ability to run away and your ability to stand steady. Feel so much gratitude for these 2 legs. For light, right and for left. Feel the bowl of your pelvis, the swish of your hips. Feel all the joy of creativity, of a slide left, of a swivel right, of rock and roll, of choice. The beauty of being able to tell the difference between when you need to stand steady and when you need to slide to the right or slide to the left. So much gratitude for your pelvis, for your hips. Feel your belly, your strong belly organs, your strong low back muscles, your intestines, your physical stomach, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys, your adrenals. Feel this amazing pulse of life that exists in the center of our bodies. The folds of the intestines are similar to the folds in the brain. There are yards upon yards of absorption material here, of nervous material here. This is your second brain, your brain of digestion, your brain of absorption, of vitality. Feel so grateful for your vitality. Feel the center of your chest, your rib cage, your heart and its protective covering, your pericardium. your lungs around your heart, your ribs protecting it all. Feel this free exchange that breathing is. This open receiving and giving. From the moment of birth until the moment of death, we are involved in this free exchange with our world. Let that free exchange be breath. Let that free exchange be love. Feel the center of your throat, your place of voice, your place of command. Feel all of these passageways, vital, between heart and head, between head and body. So much gratitude for your throat. Feel your whole head, your face, the center of your mind, the keenness of your intelligence, your ability to tell right and left, wrong and right for you, your ability to synthesize information. So much gratitude for your mind. Finally, feel the crown of your head. Your connection to all that is wonderful and amazing and inspiring. So much gratitude for everything that is larger than yourself, this planet, this universe, our solar system. Feel your whole self. All of these different impulses and rivers of thought and blood and sensation combining to be a whole person, a whole, amazing, miraculous person. So much gratitude for your whole self. The parts that you're not quite sure what to do with, and the parts you know exactly what to do with. Knees come into chest. Wiggle around. Roll to the side. Ease yourself around. Come to a seat. Touch your hands together in front of your heart and lift your heart up. Inhale and exhale, bow your head. The light inside of me celebrates that very same light in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you so much for taking care of yourself and all of the people who you love. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you for being here. Bye, guys.